My name is Leah, and it's been several months that I'm traveling from the north of Canada to the south of Argentina by motorcycle with my partner Quentin. And during all this time, we haven't paid much for accommodations. So in today's video, I want to tell you all the different ways we have to find free accommodation while traveling. The first way, and probably my favorite actually, is wild camping. We camp most of the time. That's why we are quite loaded on the motorbikes, because we have the tents, the sleeping bags, we have everything to cook. Yeah, everything we need to spend a few days like that on the beach. Right now we are on a beach in the south of Baja California in Mexico, and this is definitely while camping that we create the most memorable memories of this travel, because for example, just right here, right now, I can see whales, and I'm just spending my days on this beach with not much people around, watching whales passing. It's just incredible. We have access to places and views that you wouldn't have staying in a fancy hotel. To find campsite, we're using an app. It's called iOverlander. It's a collaborative app, so people, when they find a spot where it's legal and safe to camp, they put a pin, and then you can like comment, and then you have a good idea of what to expect when you arrive at the spot. They also like usually give some indication on the road to get there and stuff like that. So yeah, this app is just our Bible. We use it every day. There's where to camp, but there's also where to find some water, where to find some Wi-Fi, where to find stuff like that. It's very, very useful. It depends on the continent. So the iOverlander is very active in America, but for example, when I was camping in New Zealand and Australia, I was using more Wikicamp, which is very active over there. And in Europe, I was using an app called Pack4Night, same, very active. So they all have the same concept. They're all collaborative apps, and that's how we find like gems like that to stay for a few nights for free. You might wonder how we stay like that several days in places with zero amenities. And the first thing is we carry quite a lot of water. We have almost 15 liters when we're full. We have a big 10 liters water bag and several water bottles, which is enough for the both of us to drink, to cook, to clean ourselves. It's not a full shower, but it's enough with a wet towel to rinse ourselves and feel fresher, and to do our dishes. When we can, we camp next to a water source to use this kind of water to at least do our dishes and stuff like that. We don't do dishes directly in lakes or rivers. We always have a little sink to carry the water away from it. Like this, we don't put any soap or dirty things in the river or lakes. The other thing which is essential is a poo bag. Very often when we arrive in a very beautiful and a wild place like that, we have the not so nice surprise to find a lot of toilet paper everywhere and trashes. So we don't want to be that kind of person. When you wild camp, you need to respect and one, the place, and two, the people that are gonna use that place next. So first of all, we always have trash bags with us, and we pack everything. And then we have a very small and portable shovel like this. When we need to poo, we can bury it quite deep. It's very important to deep enough for people not to step on it, you see, because this is not nice. And we don't let the toilet paper. I know it is compostable, but it's definitely not nice to arrive in a place full of toilet paper. So if we can, and if it's safe, we burn it. Otherwise, we put it in the trash bag and pack it with us. So the second way to have free accommodation is to be hosted. That's the case right now. I am in the very beautiful garden of a host that we met through Bunkerbiker, and Bunkerbiker is an absolutely gem of a website. It's an open source website. It's basically a map where people can pin their house and there's a color code to say if you're available, you have space inside or outside, etc. And they just put their contact, so it's not based on any review, it's just based on trust in community. And it's for people who want to host for free bikers who are traveling at the moment. And the community is actually very active here in the States. We mostly stayed with Punker Biker because it was a bit chilly to camp all the time, and that was very easy to find hosts. We met some absolute gems. They were beautiful people, very welcoming, very helpful. It was really good experience. And sometimes they were a kitten. I get distracted. But yeah, and we had no bad experiences at all, even though it's you don't have any reviews, so sometimes you just have one text message or two before arriving and meeting the person, but like we had no bad experience, and we always ask to the hosts themselves if they had any bad experience, and we never met anyone who had a bad experience. So I'm very grateful for this beautiful community, and yeah. There's another website for that. You might know this one. This is called Couchsurfing. I guess that would be the third way to have a free accommodation. Couchsurfing used to be very active. I used to host myself when I was in France, in Lyon. I loved that. I traveled a lot with Couchsurfing, and that's a system not for bikers only, for everyone, for every traveler, people who want to host for free. So it's people who want to meet travelers and to have people at their house. I absolutely love that website and that community as well. This one is based on reviews because it's a much bigger community. There's a lot of people on that, so the reviews are quite helpful to sort a little bit awkward people. But I have to say that the website died a little bit during COVID because they made the website paying. It used to be free, and now a host would need to pay to host, which beats a bit the purpose of the community. So there's a lot of ghost profiles, a lot of people who are still on it but who are not active anymore. And but it's still possible. We've been hosted twice in Canada through Couchsurfing. It's still active somehow, but just a little bit less. So you need to sort out all the ghost profiles to find people who are still really active. So that's still a very cool way to travel, and I think it's more active in some region of the world. So in the States, not so much right now, but I know that in Latin America it's quite active. I used it. I think the country where I've been where it was the most active was Pakistan. The Couchsurfing community in Pakistan is just huge and super active. So yeah, maybe depending on the region of the world, Couchsurfing is still a good way to be hosted. The fourth solution to have a free accommodation is to work in exchange of it. That's what we're doing right now. We're staying in a beautiful tent in the middle of the forest on the Sunshine Coast in Canada. And we're actually in a hobby farm where we help taking care of the animals. Help with gardening and with small construction job. We work in average 20 hours per week. and we have free accommodation and free food. So it's a great solution when you want to stay several weeks at the same place. That's our case right now. We are just waiting for some paperwork, and we had some work to do online. So it's a great way to stay put for a while and to also meet the locals. Here we're staying with the indigenous family. We're part of the community, and the experience is really, really different than if we were just traveling through the Sunshine Coast. So for that, we're using a platform called Workaway. Workaway is the main platform, and you can find all type of jobs on it. There's also another platform called Woofing, where you can find farming job. I think it's specialized in organic farming job, to be precise. And you could also ask directly. It's pretty common, for example, if you want to work in hostels. Hostels often look for volunteers to help with the cleaning or the reception, and usually they don't use a platform. You just go there and ask if you can stay for a few weeks and help with the job. I would really recommend it to have a break in a long trip, for example, or even to base a full trip on several workaways. It's a pretty cool way to travel and meet locals, I think. So the fifth and last way to have free accommodation is to do some pet sitting, like we're doing here. We are right now in San Diego, and it's Thanksgiving, so the people living in this house usually just left for a few days, letting us the house in exchange of taking care of these 3 puppies. This is not completely free though, because we're using a website called Trusted House Sitter, and there's a membership for this website. I believe that it is $120 for a full year as a couple. And but if you want to keep it free, there's also Facebook groups. You just type pet sitting and then the region where you want to pet sit. And but I do prefer passing through the website because it's more secure, asking for our identity. There's also insurances, contact with vets and everything, so I feel safer through the website. But this is actually a very cool way to have access to a full house just for ourselves. This is actually the only way we have for a few days, so it's very cool while traveling. Usually it's a good rest, and we get to pass some time with cool puppies. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comment if you have tried any of this way to travel, or if you want to. And also let me know if you have other tips to have free accommodation while traveling. See you next week. Cheers. Sorry, I need to pass.